What's up everybody, Boogie here, and in today's video we're going to talk about things you should know before visiting Japan. This little list I've actually put together from you, all of those who have been on my tours here in Tokyo. If you've been there and we've sat and we've talked, I've collected this list from all of you. So first of all, thank you everybody for sharing your input and your thoughts. It's going to be very helpful because it's going to help all those other people out there who are planning on coming to Japan and visiting. The main question I was asking people is, what do you wish you would have known before coming to Japan? Or if there was anything that surprised you when you first came to Japan that you wish you would have known. There's about 15 things here I've put together. And then of course there's a couple of bonus things I've added here on the end that I'll be able to share with you also. Number one, there are no trash cans anywhere. Yep, that's true. Probably one of the most shocking things when you come to Japan for the first time and you may be wondering, where are all the trash cans? You're walking around, you got a drink, you have no idea where to toss it. Well, there are no trash cans anywhere in Tokyo, so you take it with you. That's all you have to do. So just make sure you carry a little plastic baggie with you. And then when you get back to the hotel, you can just toss it in the bag up there. Or if you walk into a convenience store or around certain train stations when you get out by the exit and everything, you can also find trash cans there where you can dispose of your things. Should have taken out cash at the airport ATM. Alright, so it's true you can get around with a credit card in Tokyo. Very, very easy. However, Tokyo is still a very cash-based society. So you're going to need to have cash with you to get around. You're going to need cash to ride a train. You're going to need cash to ride a bus. So just make sure you have a little bit of cash before you leave the airport. The time of year matters. Summers are brutally hot. I think the key thing to this is before you plan your trip to Japan, plan a time that you feel is best for you. And of course, if you're not used to extreme heat and hot weather, Japan summers are very, very hot. It gets up to 34, 35, sometimes 36 C. It can be very, very hot. And when you come to Japan, the time of year matters. Plan accordingly. One, number 4, should have researched the area I'm staying in a bit more. If you're gonna stay at some hotel, wherever it's gonna be, it's good to get to know the surroundings so you're a little bit familiar with the area you're in. If you're coming to Japan for the first time and you want to have easy access to the city, probably Shinjuku, Shibuya are probably more of the central places that you can stay, but there are other stations that are far and in between that you can stay in at also. Knowing the area you're staying at is going to help you have better access to the city. Research the area you're staying in a bit more. That makes a lot of sense. Get a Suica pass instead of a Japan Rail pass. Let's do the math and I'll tell you how that works. So say that you were coming to Japan for the first time and your plan was to go from Tokyo to Kyoto to Osaka and back. Here's what it costs. A ticket from Tokyo to Kyoto would cost you about 380 yen. And then of course from Kyoto to Osaka, that would cost about 540 yen. And then from Osaka back to Tokyo, that's about 14,920 yen. So the total cost of that would be about 29,840, which would probably come out to maybe roughly 200 USD. Now, if you were to get a Japan Rail Pass, the Japan Rail Pass for 7 days is 70,000 yen, which is probably closer to around 600 USD. And if you got a Japan Rail Pass, you can only ride JR Line only. So it works out a lot better if you get a Suica card to get around on all the trains in Japan. A Suica will get you on the metro, will get you on the toy lines, and will get you on the JR lines. And then whenever you need to travel outside of Tokyo, then you would just get a Shinkansen ticket on top of that. If you do it this way, you'll probably definitely save yourself about anywhere between $200 to $300 on transportation. Where to eat food bought in convenience stores. In Japan, usually it's frowned upon to walk and eat at the same time or walk and drink at the same time. Oh, you can walk around with a drink. So the key point of that is this. If you got food at a convenience store, eat it there in front of the store. If you got a drink, you can carry that with you. That will be okay. You can definitely do that. Japan's tipping culture. Do we tip? Say you're eating in restaurants, riding a taxi, the bellhop carries your luggage, any of that stuff. You don't need to tip drivers. You don't need to tip waiters, waitresses. You pretty much don't need to tip. I'm a tour guide here in Japan and I always love it when someone gives me a tip. But I'm going to let you know right now, straight up, that is optional. It's up to you. You do not have to give a tip. I usually like to keep it to this rule of thumb. If someone provides you a personal service and you found it outstanding, then at that time you can give a tip. So tips are optional. Honestly, tips are really optional. You don't need the tip. If someone has provided you a private service, yes, please. We always love our tips. It's optional. Next up on my list here is pick up a few general phrases in Japanese to communicate. I think it's always good to know a couple of phrases in Japanese to communicate. Ohayo gozaimasu, good morning. Konnichiwa is just good afternoon. Konbanwa is good evening. If you're at a restaurant and you're ready to pick up the tab or your bill, you just say okaike kudasai. If you're on a train and you're ready to get off and there's too many people in the way in front of you, you say orimasu. Before you eat, itadakimasu. And when you're done eating, gochiso sama deshita. These are just some general phrases that you can pick up. Obviously, there's going to be a lot more Japanese phrases that you can pick up. If learning Japanese is not your thing, the other thing is use Google Translate on your iPhone. I think that's pretty good. If you have an Android phone, you can use a thing called Google Lens. I think Google Lens or even Google Translate will help you to read kanji on signs and things. If you can't read the signs, you can use those to translate. I think if you have an iPhone, on the new iOS 18 update, there's this little thing that's the translator, and you can have one that's like face-to-face translating. So if you're talking to someone directly, you can use that. There's several tools to help you to communicate. You don't just have to remember phrases. There are also apps that will help you. It's good to learn a little bit of the language to get you around. And of course, if you don't remember things, remember you can use these tools to help you to figure things out. And next on our little list that we have here is a good guide. I think this is pretty good because if you're coming to Japan for the first time, a good guide could really help you get started. And what you want to do is you want to get a good guide from the very, very beginning. So shameless plug here, or maybe not so shameless, this is more of a helpful plug. I run a little tour group called Farside Japan. So if you're looking for a guide for the city, just connect with me through Farside Japan. I can definitely help you get around the city. Also do city walking tour, do photo walking tours. And of course, a good guide will always help you get started on your journey here in Japan. If you're looking for some great Japanese street food, Tokyo Ramen Tours. If you go to the Tokyo Ramen Tours website, we do ramen tours. We have 3 routes, one in Shinjuku, one in Shibuya, and one in Ueno. And we also do what are called street food tours. So if you want to try some good Japanese street food, you can also check out our street food tours. If you're a solo traveler, it's great to meet other solo travelers. If you're traveling with a family, it's a great way to put together activities to do with your family. Tours that I would recommend definitely are FarsideJapan.com tours. The other tours we do is also Tokyo Ramen Tours with the street food tours. I'm going to leave all those links below in the description. And of course, by linking those descriptions, you can look into that. And so when you come to Japan, we'd be more than happy to take you out. A good guide will definitely help you out. And a good guide will definitely help you to get to know the city very, very well. And of course, we're always here to help you have a wonderful experience when you're visiting Japan. All right, so next one we have on here, how to respond when you enter a store and leave. Okay, so this one came up is because every time you walk into a store in Japan, they're always going to say, "Irashaimase, irashaimase, irashaimase." You always hear this all the time when you walk into any store in Japan. And all you have to do is just nod your head and smile. That's all you got to do. Just nod your head and smile. You don't got to say anything. You don't got to say anything. Just nod your head and smile. That's it. Very easy. Okay? And then when you're leaving a store, if you bought something, they're going to say, "Arigatou gozaimashita," and they're going to bow to you. And you just have to reply back, "Arigatou gozaimasu." And you just lightly bow your head. And then that's it. So don't make it complicated by trying to say some long words or some long things. You just got to keep it really, really simple, is what I have to say. That's pretty much how to respond when you are in a store and when you leave. Next one, I'm actually going to combine 3 of these because I talked to different people and then these are sounding very similar. One of them was the quiet places in a big city, the smell and the cleanliness. That was a surprise. Tokyo is massive. And then the other one is the city is much easier to get around. Tokyo is massive. Tokyo is a very big city. Don't expect to do everything in one day. Don't expect to do everything in one trip. Tokyo is huge. You can probably spend a whole 5, 6, 7 days here in one city alone, and you still won't cover all the ground. If you come from a small town and you're not used to visiting big cities, it could come to be quite a big surprise. It could feel quite overwhelming at times. Tokyo's a little over 37 million people, and you would think, that it's a very busy city, but you'd be quite amazed at the quiet places that you can actually find in the city. So if you want to find these quiet places, don't stick around the station so much. You got to go out beyond the station. And different train stations have different sides, right? Different neighborhoods have different vibes, different areas, different wards will give you something totally, completely different from another one. Shinjuku is different from Shibuya. Shibuya is different from Asakusa. Asakusa is different from Ueno. And so between all these places that you can explore in Japan, despite of how busy it is, you would be amazed at all the quiet places you can find far and in between. As big as the city is, you can find it quite easy to get around. The stations are very easy to understand. Actually, within Tokyo, there are a lot of signs that are in English. You don't need just an Uber to get around, to get everywhere. The train is actually quite efficient. It can get you pretty much everywhere and anywhere. So just know that even though that Tokyo is a very, very big city, it's really not that difficult to get around. Don't overpack, underpack. I met a gentleman, he was a solo traveler, and he said coming here to Tokyo on his own, he was here to buy things and collect things, and he realized that this was the second time to Tokyo. So he realized that his first time when he came to Tokyo, he brought too much stuff with him. And so this time around, what he did was he underpacked, and then by underpacking, he brought an extra bag so he can actually collect goods and things like that. Take only the essentials with you, and then bring an extra bag or an extra duffel bag or something to add your souvenirs in. And just know, some of the hotels that you stay at will have a laundry service, so you can clean and wash your clothes at a hotel and things like that. So you'll be able to do that. And of course, by underpacking, you'll free up some space so you can collect more souvenirs. So underpack, save extra space so you can collect and bring things back home with you. The other one here is to get an eSIM. I think being connected is very important when you're in the city. If you don't have your phone, how can you use your map? You can download offline maps, but I think being connected is very, very important when you are in the city. And so in order to get connected, you can either get a pocket Wi-Fi, which is pretty old school, or you can get what we call an eSIM. eSIMs also are very, very helpful to help you connect your phone so you can get around in the city. Getting reservations in advance. If you're going to be coming to Japan and there's some really popular places you'll be visiting, it's important to get tickets, reservations to places in advance. You know, you've come all the way this way. Don't wait till last minute to make reservations. Make sure you make reservations early for the places that you really, really want to see. So like Studio Ghibli, Team Lab Borderless, Shibuya Sky, your favorite restaurant, anything like this, make sure you do your reservations early. And that way you're guaranteed to make sure that you have a spot when you come. And then don't be one of those guys who thinks, I can do last minute, it'll be fine, we'll just wait in line. Nah, you don't want to risk it, don't chance it. You're coming all the way over here to Japan for a holiday, so don't chance it, okay? So make sure you reserve tickets early and in advance. Japanese etiquette. Japan is a society where people pretty much keep to themselves. When you're riding on the train, don't talk loud. When you're in an elevator, whisper, don't talk loud. If you're walking out in public, don't eat in public. Don't walk around with an open cup. Make sure there's a lid on it. When you're listening to audio on your phone, make sure that you have headphones on. Don't play music through loudspeakers. The main thing is try to keep to yourself. So this would be good etiquette to get you started when you're coming to Japan. Here are some bonus things to help you get around. When riding the train, one of the most important train lines I'd always like to share with people is know the loop. That's going to be the Yamanote line. The Yamanote line goes in a loop. It's part of the 23 wards in Tokyo. And if you're coming to Japan for the first time, you will want to stay at a hotel that is on this loop, on the Yamanote line. So that means find a place to stay around Shinjuku, find a place to stay around Shibuya, find a place to stay around Ueno, Nippori, Nishi-Nippori, Shinagawa, Ikebukuro, Tokyo. These are all places that you can stay at that are close to the station, and you want to be within 5 to 10 minutes from the Yamanote line, the main loop. Even if it's your second or third time coming to Tokyo, you want to be able to access the city. By staying in a hotel that is close to the Yamato line, it'll help you to better optimize your trip and to help you to get around. If it's your first time into Japan and you like crowds, stay in Shinjuku and Shibuya. If it's your first time to Japan and you want peace and quiet, you can stay in Asakusa. If you stayed in Asakusa, just know it's far away from the loop. So if you want to stay in a quiet place, I would say find a place around Ueno, Nippori, or Nishi Nippori. These are quiet places if you don't want to be around two people. Also, if you got the paper to burn, around Ginza. Around Ginza is a good place that you can stay also. If you're a solo traveler and you are on a budget, capsule hotels are a good idea. Hostels are another good place you can stay at. And another one that not too many people talk about is a net cafe. Net cafes, they can cost as little as 2,500 yen. That's like what, $15 US? If you're a solo traveler, hostels or capsule hotels are going to be very, very good for you. I think that will get you started. So these are the things that you should know before visiting Japan. All right. I appreciate you watching the video all the way up until the end. Really appreciate it. And then, of course, if you're looking for more videos about Japan, you can check them out here. So you found this video helpful. Don't forget to hit that like button. Share a comment below if you have any other questions. And of course, do subscribe if you're not subscribed to the channel yet. It really helps me out. We are a growing community. We'd love to hear from you. So with that, I just want to say thank you. It's been a pleasure. I'll see you on the next round. Cheers.